Hello everybody, it's me, Darius here, and what we have for today are some eye drawings to go back to, for me to hone in and give proper studies to it, because, it's always good to go back to learning and getting better at drawing eyes. In particular, I took inspiration from David Finch's methods on drawing eyes, as well as Draw Like a Sir's recent video on drawing eyes from perspective and overall methods of drawing them. And I took it as an opportunity to, let's go back to drawing eyes, because there's always room for improvement, right? And so that is our method, our topic for today in my session in drawing eyes and understanding them better, as well as just overall working in on sketching, because I always get fun when it comes to finding something to sketch. And so yes, that is going to be our little guinea pigs for today. We have our references and getting in the sketchbook, which is our tablet. And I found it's like really fun to go about it in drawing eyes and the variety and how to go about them, because for drawing eyes, there's just such a variety in methods. Like Picat's video on drawing eyes, she talks about them in stylized and understanding how to draw them in a way that is kind of like how Michael Hampton does it with the shape, and how Draw Like a Sir, he talks about that shape too in a sense. It's like a wedge, a door wedge in a sense, and when I see it, that's how it looks like to me, a door wedge with legs in a sense, or you're just looking at it straightforward. And I found that the shape is actually quite helpful in understanding how to draw the eyes, and provides a straightforward understanding, because I'm and definitely learning drawing, and how can I get better at it. And drawing eyes is one of those things where it is like a constant study for me, because there's such a variety to them, and there isn't just one cut from the same cloth, so to speak. So getting into the studies is of course a necessity in a sense, because I mean, who wants to look at eyes and they look like crap, So that is my focus for this session. I'm not so much constricting myself on drawing the face in a sense. It's more like the eyes, because another thing too is that helpful to me is that honing in on what's important and not being so fixed on other details, because getting lost in other things that are not the primary objective can get distracting. And so it's what I do is just zone out everything else, so to speak, and so that I can get better on that specific area, and that area for right now is the eyes. And so I'm paying attention to the rotation in the eyelid and the eyeball, because everything else, as far as the details, they wrap around that eyeball. You know, it's like how Michael Hampton talks about it in his book, how the eyelid and the surrounding face proportions, they wrap around that eye. And so I want to incorporate that understanding into drawing them, so that there is a better understanding of them, so that when I can draw them in a better interpretation, that I can manipulate that interpretation if I was to draw in the anime style. And so Draw Like a Sir was talking about this too, in that drawing in the anime style in his method is much more simpler, because it's like he's breaking it down and just overall making the method about it like bigger, in a sense, you know, because the eyes, when in the cartoony, they're bigger. And so it's interesting to see that connection, you know, because anime eyes are just bigger, realistic eyes. Then you stop to think about it, you know. So it's like, if I can get a better understanding of realistic eyes, then I can get and fine tune it to fit the cartoon style, you know. So that's been like an importance to me, into like not just study anime, but also look at realism too. So Pinterest has been a great help to me in that regard, because Pinterest is, of course, an endless supply of references, and it's one thing that makes drawing and studying something that is never tiresome, because there's always something to draw. And so yeah, it's like, it comes to eyes in particular, yeah, there is an endless variety and creativity to them. And so it calls for greater study, because manipulation is key to drawing an efficient eye and making that eye tell a story that is captivating and creative. And it's like a focal point in an illustration, you know, and it's not something that I want to laze around, in a sense, because when you're drawing something like eyes, for example, you can always hide the hand, of course, but when it comes to eyes, I mean, unless you're wearing an eye patch, you can't hide them. So that's where it becomes like a focal point to get a better study of them, because they're not something that you can just look over, in a sense. And so there's such a variety into them and their expressions, you know. So like, I mean, just look at this one right here. Like, this girl is squinting happily with her expression, and I remember just like drawing them. It was like, oh my gosh, like I was struggling here because it's so unusual and interesting to, like, how do I go about this, because it's not something that is familiar to me, you know. And that is the thing, it's unfamiliar to me. And it's that unfamiliarity that drives that speciality to it, and speciality creates character and a story, and so that's why it's so important that I want to get better at drawing eyes. And my studies for these drawing eyes, it's very nice, because it's like, I could tell you right now that after doing these like 10 or 11, I definitely feel much more free and loose when it comes to drawing the eyes. And these took me, I think, like an hour or two, or no, an hour and 30. That's how much it took, because I'm time-lapsing this. So yeah, so that's like to drive it all the more to how little these studies can take you. So it's very nice to see that. And eyes themselves, they are very articulate, and they are not at all simple or easy, I would say. Like, because there's a lot of things happening in the eye that you're seeing just the surface of it, but on the subsurface there is actually a lot going on. And so that is why it's so important to focus on the eyes, and why I wanted to document a little step into my study with drawing the eye and sharing it with you guys, because it's not like this is gonna be the last video on my eyes, so there's always good for studying. But yeah, that's gonna be my little snippet for you guys. I hope you've enjoyed this little chit chat, and as ever, these little drawings I've had in the background. But other than that, yeah, I'll see you later.